with Mike and Tifa. I'm Tifa.
And I'm Mike, and this is our Born of the Gods experience video.
Born of the Gods is the second set in the Theros block. Theros is a world inspired by Greek mythology, and Born of the Gods, being the second part of this, brings in more gods, the storyline of a planeswalker, Xenagos, turning into a god, which is a completely unknown feat where a mortal turns into a god in this world. So it's actually a really big deal that this has happened, and it's pissed off some of the gods.
With every new set, there are new mechanics. Born of the Gods continues with some of the mechanics that were introduced in Theros and adds two more new ones, Inspired and Tribute. Inspired is a triggered ability that when the creature untaps, it becomes inspired in some way, shape, or form.
Tribute is an awesome new mechanic that when it comes into play, your opponent has to make a choice. An example of this is Nessian Wild Ravager, which is a 6/6 creature, and when it comes in, it's either going to come in with 6 additional counters, making it a 12/12, or it is going to fight a creature, and the opponent decides which one of these two things is going to happen.
I really like Tribute. I think it's a really neat mechanic because you're essentially forcing your opponent to, like Tifa said, to make this choice. You either give me a creature that's going to be really awesome later on, or you have to deal with the consequences of not doing that right now, which adds a whole new level of gameplay.
Yeah, and it's definitely one of my favorite mechanics in the block. I really, really like it. Currently, Mike and I are not allowed to play in stores because we're both former employees of Wizards of the Coast, so we won't be able to play like regular Magic players until M15 comes out. But in the meantime, we still like to play Magic as much as we can, and we still wanted to experience the pre-release, in some way. So we purchased a bunch of pre-release packs, had a bunch of friends over, and had our own pre-release, which was 20-something people.
It's 22.
22 people.
22 people came to our house to play Magic.
Yeah, which was really awesome. And we really got to see the set in the same light that everyone else gets to see it.
We played a lot of Magic that day.
Yeah, we did.
A lot of Magic playing that day.
Yeah, so we had a draft later that night. It was a couple weeks after the set had actually came out.
Yeah.
But it was still really awesome. We hadn't played it very much before that day. And we also actually played the pre-release packs, just the two of us, because we like to play Magic one-on-one. And every time a set comes out, we do a Winston draft. We always Winston draft whenever set's that. So we've done we had a big sealed event with a bunch of friends. We had just sealed just the two of us. We did our own Winston drafts. Which we used 4 Born of the Gods and 2 Theros. Yep. One thing about this set is it's a small set, and it really doesn't do that well just by itself. There's a lot of support cards like enchantments and instants and sorceries that are really great, but there's not a lot of creatures that can really hold their own, at least that are lower cost.
No, there's not, and I agree. We've done a draft and we've done different combinations, and we found that our favorite combination is 2 Theros and 1 Born of the Gods, because we feel that, and I both felt this way, that the Born of the Gods cards seem to support the cards you're going to draft in Theros.
Yeah. Well, and they design it that way on purpose,
well,
but sometimes I actually really like doing triple draft small sets. An example of this is Dark Ascension.
Yeah. It's
my favorite draft format in the world, and you're not even supposed to draft it by itself. But this one, I would say to stay away from drafting it triple by itself.
With every new set, people are excited about certain cards and have their favorite cards. We're not going to do a full review set because there are plenty of other YouTube channels that do that for you. We are instead just going to talk about some of our most exciting cards.
So, as everybody probably already knows, I am a huge, huge, huge Simic fan. For life, quite literally. So Kiora, being the first Simic Planeswalker, had me incredibly excited. I fully intend to make a standard deck that evolves around her, no pun intended, that's all about card draw and ramping. Right now, my standard deck is all Hydras all the time. It's just ramping up to giant Hydras that hopefully will kill my opponent faster than they can do anything about them. I want to keep some of those Hydras going, but add some of the blue factors that Kiora will allow me to do. And I know a big part of this is going to be card draw. The card Tremocritus, I don't know if I said that right, but I'm really excited about him because I think he'll go really well in this deck. All about Krakens. He's a Kraken that'll fit right in, and I think that I can have a lot of fun making this deck.
I love the card Painseer. Painseer is the closest thing we're going to have to a standard Dark Confidant. and I've drafted a couple times and gotten it in sort of pre-release packs, and it has done wonders for me. I currently am running a black-white standard deck that revolves around, it's a black-white devotion, if that makes sense. Essentially so I can build a ton of mana for Gary, Debt to the Deathless, and Pain Seers help me with my card draw. Even though I'm losing a ton of life, I will eventually gain all that life back, and I'm very excited to throw Pain Seer into my standard deck and make some changes around that.
So out of the pre-release cards, I was actually the most excited for Arbiter of the Ideal, which is weird because I'm a huge green player, but this one is super awesome. It lets you do all sorts of things with any card that you end up with on the top of your deck, which is great in any deck. One of the times we played pre-release, I picked the blue, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to play it. I did build a blue-white deck that was amazing, but I haven't got to play the card yet.
Yeah, the reason she didn't get to play it is because she killed me faster than she can cast that card. Xenagos! Xenagos, God of Revels, is just amazing. He's the red-green god, he was the planeswalker from the previous set, he's completed his challenge to become a god. He's just broken. He's awesome. I love him. He's going straight into my commander deck, and it's awesome to see the transition and the flavor from him as a planeswalker to him as a god.
Another pre-release card that I was excited for is Silent Sentinel, and I did get to play him, I think it was in a draft, and he did amazing. Being able to return an enchantment to the battlefield in this set, pretty broken. It was awesome.
Oh, it's my turn again. Chromanticore! Chromanticore, again, what the heck? 5-color, 4/4, flying, lifelink, vigilance, trample, the whole crazy ridiculousness. He makes me want to build a 5-color standard deck that is all bestow creatures. I'm gonna call it Sparkle Motion.
And I will destroy you over time, and you'll be frustrated.
Yeah. Probably. So those are the experiences we've had with Born of the Gods so far. Again, this is coming from 2 former Magic players who became Wizards employees who are now back to being Magic players. So our experiences may be a little bit different than your experiences. Be sure to tell us about what experiences you've had. Leave them in the comments below if you'd like to.
And I'd love to see what cards you're excited about. And until next time, happy gaming.